Hello, welcome back to the Horror Highway Podcast. This is your host, Jason here, and I'm with my co-host, Omar,
Yo.
and my other co-host, Eris.
Yo, I almost crashed this car like a minute ago. Hopefully I don't crash, or hopefully I don't actually crash. But I mean, what's up, guys? It's Eris.
Definitely a Horror Highway story. Okay.
On the horror on the highway.
On the horror and the highway. Okay, so today, guys, I want to be talking about a couple things, and there's going to be a couple stories and whatnot. But today we're going to jump into, not so much as paranormal, but creepy and spooky things that happen on the road that just can't be explained. I don't know. For me, that would be something like the little white girl or the little girl in the white dress in the middle of the road. You know, stuff like that, kind of scary stuff. Omar, what do you think?
I understand where you're coming from. That's my experiences with like actual horror. Not my personal experiences, but like from what I've seen, like actual horror on the road. Typically, like a white woman in a gown, or like a little kid that's white, like completely white with a white dress. And like they'll either go in front of your car and like make you swerve and shit to try to kill you, or they'll like appear behind you and warn you of like in most of those stories, like it's raining really bad and they gotta make a sharp turn, and like they see the ghost, so they slow down and get spooked, and then they get out and they realize, oh man, if I kept going I would have died or something.
Yeah. Or they could get out and get murked by the ghost.
I mean, yeah, there's that.
Eris, what do you think?
About like horror on the road and shit?
Yeah, just like horror stuff on the road in general.
Well, like I said, I have not experienced any like horror related stuff on the road. Besides, like crashing and shit, But I mean, that's scary for everyone. But like every time I listen and like read stories of like people driving and shit, or like getting out of the car, experiencing some shit, it's always like, oh, I was driving down this empty wooded road, and there's always like a skinwalker, like there was like a skinwalker or like a creature fucking running, like he's going 80 miles per hour. There's this creature just running like fucking like even speed next to his window. Like he turns around to his fucking like driver's side or passenger side window, and he sees a creature just running alongside him, bro, while he's going 80 miles per hour.
Jesus fuck, bro. I could not even imagine. Omar, what do you think?
That reminds me of like Black Dog and Donkey Lady a little bit. Donkey Lady, in Donkey Lady the car was parked, but like she hops on top of their car and goes fucking ham on the roof, and that's terrifying. Just like the idea of you're driving and like a fucking hand just, like you hear a bump on top of your car and you see a hand rip through the roof, dude. I would
some Jeepers Creepers type shit.
Yeah, that's not really. We do not condone what the director does or did. But yeah, some Jeepers Creepers, and also the Black Dog is kind of spooky because it's kind of harbinger. It's weird to see a dog that's really tall, running right next to you at the same faster. Yeah, most truckers say it actually passes them up, so it's kind of scary.
I have actually heard the Black Dog story a couple times from.
Never heard of it.
I've heard the Black Dog story once from my uncle. My uncle used to be a truck driver, and he said that one time when he was on the road, he said it usually happens when they're tired.
Yeah,
it's usually when it happens the most. My uncle said that he was on the road and it was nighttime. He was driving. I can't remember where it was. He was coming from somewhere up north, and all I can remember him telling me was that he had pulled over because he was super tired. And as he was pulling over, right before he was able to stop, that he seen like a black dog in the distance, but it was just standing in the middle of the street. And he was like, okay, I'm like super fucking tired. Like this just has to be like a figment of my imagination or something. But like, if multiple people are seeing the black dog, then I don't know if it's either, something that our mind is playing tricks on us, or it's, something that's real and it's really out there. You never know.
Yeah.
But y'all have anything else to add?
Me not really. I guess I could kind of explain the Black Dog to Eris since we're already here. It's just kind of like a paranormal entity. Like people know it's not real because people have ran into it, and it's like, oh, they just ran into a mist. But the whole idea is, if you see the Black Dog, it's either warning you or telling you you're gonna die on the road.
Yeah, it is definitely scary as fuck to see the Black Dog.
That'd be really scary. Just like we're on like a future like drive or something, like we just see a black dog. That's definitely scary, bro.
mean,
matching our speed.
I already did say that I did see one time driving home from work.
I didn't know there was like an actual like tell about him though. That's the thing. I just like
no,
a black
yeah.
guy. I mean,
You thought I thought
like
no.
A black cat? Okay.
Yeah, okay. I mean, yeah.
Which you gotta be black.
I don't know. I really don't know.
Okay.
I think a big, tall white dog would be way fucking scarier.
Honestly. All right. So, with all that being said, there's a couple stories I want to touch on just for a little bit. It just has to do with, scary, not so much as paranormal things, but just like spooky shit that has happened on the road. I was reading a couple stories. So, I'm going to jump into the first story real quick. And please feel free to chime in at any time if y'all want. Just let me know. So, this first story is about these 3 college girls that wanted to go on a road trip. I believe they were coming from up north or something like that. Don't really know too much, but this one is centered kind of around like hitchhikers and whatnot. This story specifically, just a creepy aspect of like picking up a hitchhiker. So in this story, these girls are they're trying to have a good time. They're going on a road trip with all their friends and whatnot. It's 3 girls, and as they're driving down the road at night, one of them is actually a veteran. Let me add that real quick. So as they're driving down the road at night, they see this guy on the side of the road. He's wearing an ACU t-shirt, which I'm assuming from what I read in the story that it's a military/veteran shirt or something of the such. Like it's an organization of whatnot. And with the girl being a veteran, she had, kind of like not so much as a change of heart, but she wanted to help the guy out. So they pulled up to the dude to ask him, first they were going to confirm that if he was a veteran or not, and if he was, they were going to let him in the car, and if he wasn't, obviously they were going to keep driving. But when they pulled up to the man, before they even had a chance to talk to him, he was throwing his bags into the back seat, and he was already getting in. And by that point, everybody was like, yo, what's going on? It's kind of like not right and whatnot. But I mean, I don't know, the guy was in his mid-20s like the girls, but go ahead.
Like what if you have like your doors locked, right? Like if you're gonna go pick up a hitchhiker, you're not entirely sure you want him in your car. At least have your doors locked. Like if you saw him by him, lock your doors beforehand, and like roll down your window like a little bit, and ask him like, hey, are you like the girls like here in this scenario, will be like, I'm a veteran. Are you a veteran? And he says nah. Like you see, he's a fucking like he's taking valor from a veteran. You know how like that's like a crime or some shit.
Yeah.
I'd be like, damn, bro, hey, that's fucked up. You can't be doing that. And then just like drive off.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. By that point, he was already in the car,
Oh,
and
yeah, I mean, that's why I said like lock the doors,
Yeah. Oh yeah, hell yeah, for sure. But okay, let me continue with the. So they had picked him up and whatnot, and they found out that he wasn't a veteran. But by that time, I mean, he was already in the car. He was already. Yeah, no, he was not a veteran, and in fact, they had found that out. He was just wearing a t-shirt. So whenever he was in the car, I guess they were all texting back and forth between each other. They had like knives and pepper spray, on deck just in case the guy was ready to, or they said at any sign of aggression, they were just going to go off on this guy. But one of the first things that he did that was like a huge red flag to them was fucking...
Yo, hold on.
This fucking Mack truck in front of us is trying to squeeze into a tiny ass spot.
This dude almost ran out of fucking
Jesus
truck,
Christ. You're driving a fucking 18-wheeler, not a Mini Cooper. Anyway, sorry about that, guys. So one of the first things that the guy did that was a red flag was that he started smoking weed. He was a pothead, I'm assuming. But he sparked up in their car without asking for permission or anything like that. The only thing that he did was he offered them weed. So the girls are texting back and forth between each other like, yo, this isn't right, whatnot. And another thing that was also a red flag was they asked him where his destination was at. And whenever he gave them his answer was just down south. So pretty much he was a floater. He was just, trying to catch the midnight train going anywhere. But so that was also another red flag. So I guess they were driving for about maybe an hour or two, and they decided, hey, let's fucking ditch this guy because he's weird. He's obviously disrespectful. Smoking in their car without permission. It's kind of not something that you do. I don't know. What do y'all think?
Honestly, dude, just kick the... Like, as soon as he sparks up and doesn't even fucking ask for permission, just kick him the fuck out. So that's what I think. Like, it's not their car. It's very disrespectful. It's not his car. It's very disrespectful. And, like
Yeah, it's kind of like the principle of things, you know what I mean? But so as the story goes on, they were getting tired of this guy, and they had a 7-hour trip ahead of them, and they didn't want him in the car the whole 7-hour trip. So they're trying to like devise a plan to ditch him and whatnot. And I guess they finally came up with something. So I guess the girl driving, you know, she exclaimed, "Hey, aren't we supposed to meet Margaret at this restaurant here in a little bit?" And yeah, right, Margaret. This man laughed at the name Margaret. Who the fuck names their kid Margaret? Sorry to all the people named Margaret out there, but it's almost like
fuck you guys.
yeah, that's almost like the equivalent of Bob. You know, like who the fuck names their kid Bob? It's like they're born 30 with that name. But anyway, as the story goes on, you know, they pull up to the restaurant, and I guess they all get out and go in, and one of them stays out. And the chick who stayed out, she's throwing the guy's bags out of the car onto the side, or I guess in the front of the restaurant. And they all come back and they hop in the car and they burn off. But I guess they forgot this man's sign, which was in the car as well. And she said that she kept that sign on her for about 4 years after that as a reminder to never pick up strangers on the side of the road. Now, see, that's crazy as hell, because I mean, I don't know. I know in my opinion, me personally, I wouldn't pick up a hitchhiker to begin with. That's just me. I'm not one of those guys that's like super overly nice and gonna be like, "Hey, stranger, you want to get in my car?" Like, fuck that. You don't know what those people are capable of or what they would do. You know? I mean, what's y'all's take on that?
I mean, I'm sure there's like hitchhikers that are good people, you know.
Well, yeah, of course, but
like, fuck, it's kind of hard, bro. Because like, I want to be a good person and maybe pick someone up, right? But also, if I'm not feeling safe, like while I'm passing by and shit, you look creepy as fuck. You just give off bad vibes, basically.
Yeah, there's definitely a judgment call for sure. Omar, what do you think?
Like, if you're a fucking hitchhiker, bro, please at least have a destination in mind. Don't just tell someone to go south, because people in the car have a specific place they want to be, and then you say south, and it's like, well, what the fuck? You know, this guy was just an asshole, and it makes me wonder, like, what the fuck his plan was, if you get me? Like, if he was gonna be a threat to these girls, he was making it really fucking obvious, you get me? He had no fucking respect, he was being super vague, and he kind of forced his way into the vehicle by throwing his shit in there before even getting permission to be there. And I think the plan was smart, and they're probably lucky he got high and wasn't paying attention to them texting each other. Because, like, let's be honest here, if he wasn't high, he might have noticed, like, oh, hey, these girls aren't talking, but they're looking down at their phone, and they're... Now suddenly Margaret's popping up, or whatever.
You know, they might have been texting Margaret, bro.
Yeah, they may have been texting Margaret. I don't know. In my opinion, from reading the story and the way that they made the guy seem, is he gave off almost like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo vibes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a
pothead.
pothead.
He was definitely a pothead,
Yeah.
and he didn't seem like he had too much respect. Not saying that Shaggy didn't have respect, but no, he definitely gave off heavy stoner vibes. But I mean, other than that, I don't know. Me personally, I wouldn't let somebody into my car. That's just me. You know, can never be too careful nowadays, especially nowadays. But, okay, and that leads us to the second story. This second story is actually a little bit more spooky. You know, it's a little bit in the horror area. You know, it's one of those unexplained phenomena. So, I'll go ahead and ease into it. So, there was these two girls that wanted to take a trip, right, to see their friend in college, which was 3 hours away. Well, the friend gave them specific, detailed instructions on how to get to her college campus, because I guess it was one of those smaller, maybe community colleges, or one of those ones that were like kind of out in the boonies, you know. So that she, you know, the friend sent them the directions and whatnot, and they followed the directions to the T. But whenever
How long ago was this, bro? Because like, couldn't they just open up like Google Maps?
It was fairly recent. I think it was in maybe.
Maybe the college itself isn't on, or the road was recent. You know, you get me? Google.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's roads out there that are not, you know, put on
college,
Google.
Bro. Like, I assume it has a fucking address, right?
No, yeah, I'm assuming it has an address, but I mean, it's probably just hard to get into. I'm gonna assume. I don't know. They didn't really go into the specifics on that too much, but so pretty much they're driving, and it's supposed to be approximately a 3-hour drive. No more, I don't want to say no less because they were very specific on the time frame that they were going to be there. Damn, fucking truck, loud ass truck. Sorry about that, guys. Damn, this hey, got all that horse ass in the back.
I got the horse.
That's in the back. Okay, sorry, way off topic. So as they're driving to this place, they encounter, or they notice a couple things that are like red flags right off the bat. Not right off the bat, but as they're driving, you know, they follow the directions to the T and whatnot. But they notice something strange. They're going through these woods, and it is already past the 3-hour mark that, you know, the time frame for them to get there to the college campus. So after they had noticed that it was going on 4.5 to 5 hours, almost 2 hours longer than originally intended. Okay, something's not right. You know what's going on.
Did they have call like their friend or something?
No. I don't think they had signal because they didn't mention anything in the story about, you know, calling the friends to double check, you know, seeing if everything was right. Yeah, no, but that right there is something that they actually did mention in the story, was that they thought that they were given the wrong directions, but in fact, when they made it there, they were like, yo, you know, they were the right directions. And they told their friend about it, though. She's like, that's strange. You know, y'all should have been here in 3 hours. You know, I gave y'all the right directions. You know, I've never encountered that before. Strange. So on their way back, you know, they had fun, did their little thing. On their way back, they followed the exact same instructions, and they didn't encounter any of the same shit that they did. It was the approximate 3 hours that was sent to them the first time, pretty much. So, yeah, it was just the opposite. But I mean, it should have been 3 hours to get there, and, you know, obviously 3 hours to go back. But whenever they went back, the same exact way, they followed all the directions the exact same. It was 3 hours, not the 5, and there was no woods, and it was just something that couldn't be explained. It was almost like the woods were never there to begin with, or they almost like they had disappeared altogether. And they said in the story that they had visited that campus multiple times after that, and they never encountered the woods, not one time after that. One time after that. It was only that one fucking time. So
that's kind of weird, bro.
I don't know, man. Y'all ask me, that's weird as hell.
Yeah, I've seen a good amount of movies that, like, there's a creature living in it. It, like, extends the woods, moves the woods around, like, warps reality around it. I doubt that's, like, actually happening to them or happened to them or something. Maybe they were fucking hallucinating or something. Maybe, like, all fucking hallucinating at the same time. Maybe one of them had a dream. The other girls just went for it because they were asleep or something.
I don't know, man. It's just one of those things that, you know, just can't be explained. Omar, what do you think?
I think Aris is coming on really strong with the whole reality bender thing, man. You kind of.
I hardly know her.
I personally would say this is a lost time phenomena, which is like, you know, common with UFOs, but it's not always UFOs that people have it with. That just happens sometimes, and it's actually like, so when lost time phenomena happens, and people don't realize it, to them, it always just seems that the actual event itself went normally but longer, or it was the event happened in like way quicker than it should have. So it's like 15 minutes to an hour.
The thing is, like, he said they saw a forest going, and when they came back, they didn't see a forest.
And keep in mind, they went the exact same they followed the exact same directions that were given them. The first time they encountered the 2 hours longer in the woods, and then on the way back, they didn't encounter that shit again. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they did lose time or some shit. Obviously, because it was longer. But if it was like this lost time phenomenon, how does space go into that? How does like a forest just appear out of nowhere?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's one of those things that just really can't be explained. Because I mean, honestly, come on, think about it, people. Woods don't fucking appear out of nowhere. So either they had to have been either tripping on something, which I highly doubt, because I mean, you know, they said that they took many trips up there after that had happened, and there was no woods, no 2 hours longer. It was just the 3 hours, you know, the way it was supposed to be. It was just strange. It couldn't be explained.
What's your rebuttal, Omar?
Again, this could have been just their mind making a memory, the cover up for the lost time, which is really common with lost time. Yeah, memories are made. Maybe they're okay. Yeah, there was no woods on the way back, but maybe their mind just couldn't comprehend what happened, and it was all like, what usually takes 2 to 3 hours to get through? Some woods. Okay, I'm gonna put some woods here, and then that's just what happened in their memories. They went through some woods because the mind wouldn't put in like a fucking city. It's like it doesn't take 2 to 3 hours to get through a city.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, that is definitely crazy. Something that cannot be explained.
And if it's a college, it should be near a city, right?
Yeah, no, honestly, I mean, I know there are some colleges that are out in the boonies, like Texas Tech, it's kind of out there in the middle of nowhere. But I mean, being a college campus, it should be, you know, at least in a known spot. You know what I mean? It's not somewhere that should be like tucked off and fucking BFE or something. I don't know. But as far as the stories goes, that would. Okay, so with all of that being said, what would y'all do if y'all were in that position?
Like going somewhere and then there's just like say I'm using Google Maps right now. I can tell this it'll only take like 4 hours, and then at one point we just end up in woods and like Google just like doesn't respond or nothing, right? It's like a straight road or something. But I'd be like, what the fuck, bro? I'd be kind of scared because like when I was in Mexico like a couple years ago. Like we were out in like the monte, the fucking, like out in the middle of nowhere, like literally nowhere, and my Google Maps still worked, and like it told me directions how to get to a pueblo I never really fucking heard of, and that's what's crazy to me. Like I mean, they didn't use any fucking GPS service, right? Nothing.
No. They did use GPS. That was the strange part.
And if that happens, then like what the fuck? That's just I don't know, bro.
I don't know.
Like I said, like I was in Mexico, and like even like when I had no service there, Google Maps, like I had downloaded Google Maps offline, and it still worked. But like to that, like just being in a place like no one like that just appeared out of nowhere, and it takes you like an extra 2 hours to fucking get through. That'd be scary, bro. I don't know what I would do. I'd freak out, bro.
Honestly, because I mean, if you think about it, I feel like the part that would really flip me out would be like the coming back part. You know, not going through all that and following the exact directions. That shit would flip me out because I mean, think about it. What are you gonna do in that kind of situation? You can't be like, well, oh, this isn't real. You know what I mean? Because obviously it just happened. But at the same time, it's something that cannot be explained. So you're not like, well, oh, I have a perfect explanation for it. It's just one of those things that kind of has your like mind puzzled. You know, it's one of those things where you just call it weird and go on about your day. You don't really pay too much attention to it. You know what I mean?
What the fuck are these cars doing, bro?
Omar, what do you think?
Huh?
Yeah, dude, that fucking car was literally about to run those people over, and that guy's reversing on the fucking service road. Jesus Christ, bro! I love Texas, but man, we have some of the stupidest drivers. Anyway, sorry, it's a little bit off topic. Omar, what do you think? What would you do if you were in that situation?
Step number one, well, like as soon as I'm out of those woods, bro, I'm going straight to a psychiatrist because, like, honestly, to me, like I would genuinely be worried because, like, my family has a history of Alzheimer's, and that would, for me, that'd be like, oh shit, do I have like the early stages of Alzheimer's where I'm hallucinating and I fucking took a wrong turn and I was just in the woods for 2 hours and then I came back to my senses and now I'm back on the road where I need to be, type B.
Like, in the story, there was like a group of friends, right? It wasn't just one person.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was a multiple group of friends, so they all experienced the same shit. It wasn't like it was just one. You know what I mean? Like, oh, like there's not really like have something there to back them up. You know what I mean on what they were saying because that's like me, like us three. You know, going through that scenario. Only us three know about it, but if we try to explain it to anybody else, they're like, "What are you talking about?" You know what I mean? You're crazy. You know. So it's one of those things that you just look at it and you're like, it's kind of weird, and you go on about your day. But I mean, you got anything else?
Maybe the first guy from the story, the weed guy, just kind of like he snuck into the second guy's car and fucked it up, bro. Didn't tell anyone.
Bro, I think the weed guy just picked the woods up altogether and just moved them. What do you think? Nothing. You think the weed guy moved the woods?
What if they did pick up the weed guy, bro? Like they instead of the first story, they did take a hit and they're like, huh?
Oh, dude, they did take a hit and they ended up taking extra long to get there, and the fucking weed guy ended up not being there to begin with. It's crazy as fuck.
I don't know, bro. You think of some shit that Omar speak?
Yeah, alright guys, so after all those stories, we're gonna have to do a little like more or less TED Talk, you know, get everybody's opinions on both of the stories and whatnot, and maybe chime in on some other stories as well, you know, just like a little, you know, just a spiel, as you could say. Go ahead, Omar.
For the first story, that one doesn't sound too spooky. It really just sounds like an asshole getting into your car. Let's be honest here. But the second one, it just hit me right now, not too long ago. Kind of reminds me of the whole backrooms phenomena, where where it was a picture of like, what do they call it? It was a liminal area, something like that. I'm not too sure what it means. It just basically means there was like it was just an office space with like that was blank. There was no like desk or anything, and the whole kind of idea of it being infinite kind of sprang up. And then that's when it reminded me, like, hey, kind of before office spaces, the woods always had that feeling. Like, people would feel like forest would be infinite. Like, you get lost in one really easily. All the trees look the same. It's just something really interesting that popped into my head. Like the idea that the first liminal space, or whatever you call these, would be the woods. Because much like the back rooms or whatever, it's like not a repeating pattern, but as so many things repeating in it, it would be easy to think of it as a forever ongoing space. But obviously that's not what this story is really about. I just thought that was like a really cool thing.
Airs?
My bad. You know how I mentioned skinwalkers earlier in the story? You know, or not in the story, like in the podcast?
Yeah.
What if they didn't see him, right? But what if like a skinwalker like following them or some shit, making them hallucinate? They have that power, right? I'm pretty sure they do. Or is that a Wendigo? It could have been a Wendigo as well.
Could have been a Wendigo, yeah. Definitely could have been a Wendigo, but I mean, there's always a possibility of it. I mean, go ahead.
I mean, yeah, or like something else, a witch or something. Like, oh, I need sacrifices of coal. Maybe, you know, this is just like off the dome stuff. Trying to like.
Yeah, no, definitely. I would go ahead and say that. See, to me, like, because just the other day I was out in the woods, you know what I mean? Out in the woods, you know, smoking a joint. And as I was doing that, it almost seemed like what Omar was talking about, like the woods were infinite. Like, as I was looking into the tree line, it didn't seem like they stopped. And, like, whenever I was out there, it almost seems like when you get into the woods or in any general area that you're not familiar with, it's, like, kind of real, like, foresty type beat. Your mind starts playing tricks on you, because whenever I was out there, I started hearing footsteps. There was nobody around. I was hearing like shit that wasn't animals. You know what I mean? It sounded like, but I mean, I know for a fact it was just my mind playing tricks on me. But I mean, in my opinion, that just scares the fuck out of me. Woods in general, to me, are like the equivalent of the ocean. You know what I mean? It's not really. I don't want to say not the equivalent of the ocean. Really, it's unexplored, pretty much. You know what I mean? Anybody else?
Right now we're in the middle of a lake.
Yes, we are on a bridge trying to get home, but we do not want to die. Because these fucking Texas drivers are out of their mind. People are like literally fucking on the elbows, almost running people over. There was a dude reversing on the fucking service road. Like, are you kidding me, people?
Look, bro, one thing about, you know, related to horror and driving on the highway and shit, Texas drivers, bro, they fucking scare me sometimes, bro. Like, at one point, like, earlier on in my life, like, I was driving, bro, I was going 70, right? This is my own fault. Like, I was going 70 on the 40, right? Like, this dude was trying to pass me, bro. And I'm like, hell no, I'm not letting this dude pass me, bro. And I just fucking sped up, trying to keep up with him and shit, right? And this dude fucking literally almost merged onto me, bro. But I just sped up further, bro.
It is sus, bro.
Like, he was like, fuck it, bro. If you're not letting me merge, bro, we'll both die.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna take your ass out with me. No, definitely, because I would consider maybe Texas is the horror highway. Any highway in Texas would be considered a horror highway, because these fucking people cannot drive. And I know that's like way off topic, but I mean, we're just kind of, you know, ranting on here. Not really anything too specific, you know, just a little TED Talk type thing. But no, definitely. How do y'all feel about let's see, the Loch Ness Monster? How do y'all feel about that? I know it's like fucking way off topic, but I mean, you know,
that's like off topic.
Dude, we want to keep it going here, dude.
You want to keep it going?
We want to keep it going, bro.
Nessie. I don't believe in it because they did sonar readings all the way down to the bottom of the lake and they didn't find anything.
Jesus. Well, I mean, Nessie could have survived, bro. She could have had that precognitive ability like the skinwalkers do, bro.
You know, like the first sightings of Nessie, she looked like a
dinosaur,
like an elephant or something.
For real?
She didn't look like a dinosaur.
What the fuck? I don't know. What do you think, bro? I mean, Omar. Here,
Omar's a fucking contrarian, though.
Hey, well, I mean, no. I feel like out of anybody here who knows the most about like the Loch Ness Monster, I feel like it would be Omar. I know briefly about it. I don't know too much, but I mean, if you could please elaborate, not die on the pizza boxes in the back.
I don't really know what you want me to elaborate on. Like,
or just like the where does Nessie come from?
People,
like where's her originality? You know, like
I think it's a plesiosaur for some reason. That's stupid. Like almost all dinosaurs are extinct, and a dinosaur in Ireland I don't think would have survived in a tiny little fucking lake like that.
Maybe there's like a cave underneath, and he goes underneath.
That could be a big possibility, bro.
Are you citing a plot point from Godzilla versus Kong right now, bro?
Jesus.
Hey, bro, you don't know. They didn't find Godzilla until he came out, bro. So you don't know.
Hey, exactly, bro. He could be she could be chilling in these waters right now that we're looking at, these beautiful waters, and you wouldn't even know, bro.
Let's bring it back to forests. You know what's something actually scary about forests?
What?
You know about the missing 411 phenomenon?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, no, I've never heard about that.
Later, but there's been not a recent discovery. It's kind of like the discovery was like I want to say last year.
Rabbit hole about it, you know?
Yeah, but last year it was kind of like someone connected the dots and they realized that hey, all these forests where people are missing, there's massive underground cave systems, and that's something else that's spooky about. Like,
so am I hearing underground civilization? Wink, wink. Or
because I think it's Yellowstone. There's a national park here in the U.S.
The Yellowstone,
and it's like in between two states, right?
Yeah, that's Arizona and
Cali and Nevada.
And like there's like a strip, like a rectangle strip, that is in between like every state, so they don't know exactly whose jurisdiction it is.
Yes,
and so like that's I think it's called like the death zone or some shit. And it's just like that's a lot of people, like no one wants to go in there and shit, you know, when you're out in a national park.
The death zone, you say? Interesting.
Something like that. I'll look it up later on and bring it up in a different podcast, but like that's just like you said, Mr. 401, like maybe a lot of illegal shit happens there from what I remember of me listening to.
People used to make wheat farms in like on mountains and shit where rangers wouldn't go, and they'd grow shit there. Yeah.
Yo, that is trippy. That definitely gives off big hippie vibes.
And then that missing 401 and going back to the woods reminded me of it, and I just wanted to mention it. Maybe we'll make an episode of it as well. Maybe even visit it at one point.
Oh shit! So when y'all say what did you say? 401, correct? 411. So like what like okay, I don't want to.
That's the number to call when someone is missing.
Oh, okay. So okay, I get you. Okay, see.
Can you fact check that for me?
Yeah, let's say yeah. Jamie, can you look that up, please?
Pull that up, please?
But no, yeah, I definitely don't know too much about that one. Yeah, it definitely sounds interesting though. Might want to give it a look. Definitely want to give Skinwalker Ranch a look, bro. If it was my choice, but I know it's not. Y'all have anything else y'all want to spiel?
It is not 411. It's not.
Fucking idiots.
Jamie will get back to you in a second.
Okay, Jamie will get back to us in a second. So as we're on the highway on this view, man, dude, speed the fuck up. You have a Sport and you're going slow, bro. Dude, there's not even any cars in front of this guy. Oh yeah, there is. No, but it's far up. Say, bro, hey, pass him and then look at him.
Well, I can't. There's like a shit ton of cars on my left. So 18-wheeler on my right.
We're about to eat this dude's ass.
Bro, fine, bro.
Jesus.
Slow ass, man. No, you got a trailer, bro.
Right. Hey, yo, pull it. Was that an Alabama plate? Okay, like, see, like, we're not even talking anymore. We're just, like, fucking just ranting. But, all right, guys, I guess we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. We had a good podcast, and who knows, we might touch on a couple other stories here soon. Maybe the 411. Maybe, possibly. Wink, wink.
I don't know.
It was like he made a book called the Missing 411. I'm just gonna say he investigated 411 cases of missing people. Because when it comes to being lost in the forest, there's not a lot of evidence. So the cases are pretty thin.
Definitely, definitely. Eris, you got anything else before we wrap it up?
Oh, really? I mean, that was so kind of. I'm speeding up, bro. I'm speeding up.
All right, well, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up, guys. Thank y'all for listening. If we have any fans out there, which I hope we do, but if we don't, that's okay too. You know, we're just doing it just to do it. And we are on the. This is Jason signing off. Eris,
I'm out. I mean, we didn't crash, but we came somewhat close just there.
One of us was high, and now we're on the way home from a highway of horror.
and that is your three hosts here. We are signing off.
Bye.